So what's up to all my beautiful queens, divas of a more mature age? I am the Eva Monroe. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me here on my channel today for this very candid discussion. Like, I didn't even beat face today. I came to y'all with freckles and all because I'm like, we gotta talk. Like, we really have to talk. There are some things that are getting out of control on YouTube, on the internet, period. And since COVID-19, like I have had the opportunity to pay attention to it more than I would have in the past. Or I don't know, it might just have become like really, really strong during COVID-19. Um, these high value alpha male wannabes are out here. They're trying to take the world over, y'all. They said they sick of us. They said they sick of giving us all their money. They ain't taking it no more. They want a 23-year-old woman who doesn't have powdered eggs. And it is like I'm watching some of this stuff and I never comment on this type of stuff because I feel like what people do on their YouTube channel is their business and I'm not going to get involved in it. Like if people want to pay for this type of information, you know, Godspeed. But I'm not going to get involved in it. And it's just funny to sit back and watch and like sometimes read the comments and read some of this stuff. And I'm like, I hope that they're telling these guys that they're not all going to graduate summa cum laude. You guys, you're all not going to graduate from your 6-week YouTube high value alpha male strategies course as high value alpha males. Some of y'all gonna continue to be low value betas. Some of y'all gonna be omegas. Some of y'all gonna be gammas. And some of y'all are setting yourself up for failure because some of these women out here ain't playing no games. And y'all need to be schooled on that fact as well. Like there are rules, there's levels to this thing. I don't know not one single high value alpha male, and I know a lot of high value males who has ever said to me, yeah, I learned how to be a high value male in a 6-week course on YouTube. Either you is or you ain't, right? So, but that's just my thing. But the part about angry Black women, single, over 40, life is over, go get you 10 cats and a lifetime supply of Haagen-Dazs ice cream. It's a wrap. Live your best life. You're never going to get married. You can't give anybody babies. This, that. That is the part that, like, ruffles my feathers. And it ruffles my feathers for a few different reasons. Reason number one, because I am a mature woman over the age of 40. And even though I am married, those discussions and that level of disrespect, I'm sensitive to that. And another reason why it bothers me is because as a woman of a more mature age, divorced, mother of 2, she married a high value man. So that ain't everybody's story, right? So it's not true across the board. But I feel like as women, like we have work to do and we can take responsibility for some of this foolishness that's going on around here. I have a lot of friends who are in their 40s and 50s and they're single. I'm close to some women who are in their 60s and they're single and they want a man, they want a husband, they want to be in a relationship, but they all pretty much have the same story, especially the 40 and 50-year-old women. And my friends and the women that I know, they all have 3 things in common that I always notice immediately when they're single, but they don't want to be. The first thing they have in common is they are strong, independent Black women. I don't need a man for ish. I pay my own bills. Not only do I bring the dishes to the table, I bring the food. I can change my own oil. If the engine went out in my car, I could replace it myself with my own bare hands. They're strong, independent Black women, right? The second thing that they all have in common is that they have a list. It's a scroll. They keep it rolled up in their purse. We go to dinner sometime. I'm like, girl, let me see a list. They take it out. We rolling it all. The people down at the end of the table, the other end, they got to help roll the scroll out. 6'5", buff, fine in the face, big feet, driving a Bentley, got to be making over $250 a year, good shoes, good size. And this list is so crazy. And the third thing that they all have in common is that they are in denial. Most of them are in denial about being broken. About being broken. They're broken. They're broken from previous relationships. They have scars from childhood. They're broken from failed marriages or failed relationships or abusive relationships. And some of them don't even know that they're broken. Like, they think that they look perfectly fine. Like, they have this mirror in their home that makes them look thinner than they are, makes them look more put together than they are. They think they're perfectly fine. They don't think that there's anything wrong with their mental. And so they're always in a situation with some man where things just don't work out right. And they're like, I don't know why I can't find. I don't know why dogs always come my way. I don't know why. And there's two things they don't think about. They don't think about the common denominator in all of their failed relationships is them. You always have to think about that. The common denominator, like, unless you're dating brothers or a father and a brother and they're genetically connected and they have the same issues and the same blood and the same DNA, the only common denominator in all of your failed or all of your previous relationships is you. They don't think about that. And they don't think about the fact that broke people attract broke people. Broken, I should say. Broken people attract broken people. Broke people attract broke people too, but broken. They don't think about these things. And so they're good-looking women, 40 and 50 years old. They want a husband, but all of these things keep them from being in a happy, successful, fulfilled relationship. All of these things. So it took me a long time to learn this, because if you guys go back and watch my I Was Broken video, I'll link that in the description box below. You should really go back and watch that. You can learn some things about me. You can understand a little more about me. But in that video, in particular, I spoke about my very first, like, real relationship where a man treated me really good. And it taught me a lot about myself. It taught me about a lot about life. But this was the man that I had to lock myself in my house for 7 days to clear my soul from, to cleanse him from my spirit. He taught me a lot about myself. But he also defined my future relationships for me. He set it all up for me up here. I will never forget this day. He told me something that I was so clueless about, because I've had 3 stages in my relationship years. I had the stage where I was just pure and innocent and I was just looking for love. I just wanted someone to love me. I wanted to have someone in my life, someone that I could call my own, someone that I did not fear, someone that I trusted. I was very vulnerable. I was very naive. Stupid. Stupid. And then I had a reckless period where I didn't care. Like, I didn't care about anyone. I didn't care about anyone's feelings. I didn't want to be emotionally connected to anyone. I did everything in my power to keep myself from becoming emotionally connected to men. Everything in my power. And then I got to this point to where I'm at today. But let me tell you what this gentleman told me that would define many, many years to come in my life. one day he said, I valued everything he said. I listened to everything he said. He was so powerful. He was like a step down from God in my eyes. That's how great he was to me, because I was 20, 20 and dumb. And one day he was standing there just, with his suit on, probably his hands in his pocket. He used to have his, chest stuck out. And he said, you know what kills me about you? Pointing at me. I was like, what? And now, if someone says, you know what kills me about you? I said, well, that's none of my business. None of my business how you feel about me, what you think about me, what kills you about me. That's not my business. But then I'm like, what? And he says, you got the juice and you don't even know how to use it. He said, you out here groveling over me. You don't even know that you could have any man you want. And you could make any man do whatever it is you want him to do. He said, you have a thing. And you don't even know you have a thing. And you don't know how to use that thing. He said, have you ever paid attention to when you walk into a room, not one of the men, not two of the men, not three of the men, all of the men stare in your direction? Have you ever paid attention to how the women stare in your direction? He said, you have a thing. And if you knew how to use that thing, you would be dangerous. And I was like, whatever, I ain't got no thing. Truth. I ain't got no thing. I just want you. Sure, whatever my thing is, I never need to use it. I just want you. So I got rid of him, right? And I started to date. And I said, I'm going to try this thing. I'm going to see if I can really get men to do whatever I want them to. Men have never done anything for me. I was always the type of person, the type of woman, the type of girl. I would never ask a man for anything, ever. I would never ask a man for money. I would need stuff. I would be broke. And a guy would call me up and be like, hey, I'm finna slide through. I'd be like, okay. He would come slide through, and when he got up and left, not only did he take a piece of my spirit and my soul with him, but I was still in the same situation I was in before he showed up, and jumped up and down on me. I never asked the man for anything, though. So now I'm going to try it. I'm dating this guy. He likes me. I know he has money, but he's never offered it up. Never offered it up to me. Never just came and showed up with stuff and never. So one day he called me. He said, hey, slide through. And I said, well, no, not today. And he was like, why not? What's going on? I said, oh, I just, I got some stuff going on. He's like, who's over there? Somebody over there, another so-and-so over there. I'm about to ride over there. I was like, no, really, I have a very serious issue. I have an emergency. And he's like, well, tell me, baby, tell me what's going on with you. I said, well, I can't pay my light bill. And he was like, well, how much is it? I said, it's $500. He said, I'm on my way. Came in the door, right in my hand. I was like, that was easy. That was easy. So here I go, right? Then I figured out that I was good at that. I was like, okay, he was right. He was right. Men will give me anything. Then I meet the CEO, brother. Okay, because I was young and hot. I'm not being, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not being conceited. I'm not being narcissistic, none of that. I was young and hot. And I meet a CEO, brother, CEO dude, running a very large company with a very large amount of money. And he was good to me, just right off the bat. He was good to me, but he didn't go out of his way. He was older and he was married. And he had 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. He would come to my house, my little apartment that I lived in. And he drank like Martell. And so he always had his bottle of Marcel there, his glass. Nobody better not ever touch it. Every Tuesday and Thursday when he came in, he would sit down. I would pour him a drink. I would cook for him. I would cook dinner for him every Tuesday and Thursday. I was smart enough to know that, he wasn't having that McDonald's stuff. So I had to get in that kitchen and whip it up for him. I cooked for him, give him his happy ending. This is going to be a little bit much, and he would go home to his wife every Tuesday and Thursday. So my girlfriend said he was nice to me. He was the type of guy that when he left, before he slipped out the door, he would lay the envelope on the table, and he would go. Would have a couple $100s in it. And my friend was like, "Girl, you ain't getting enough money from that dude. That dude you don't know how much money that man makes. That man is rich." And I was like, "You know what? You're right. You know, I need a new car. My car stopped on me 3 times last week." He's like, okay, yeah, I got you. Hey, I need $500 to pay my light bill. That was my that was my given amount that I was 500. How much is your light bill? $500. I live in a 700 square foot apartment with a $500 light bill, right? Hey, I need to pay my rent. Can you help me with my rent? Oh, yeah, I got you. And then he came to me and he said, "You know what?" He said, "Let me tell you something." He said, "You're my woman." And he had a wife at home. "It's my duty to take care of you. I'm going to pay your bills. You give me your bills every month. I'm going to pay your bills. I'm going to pay your car note." And I was like, okay, Tuesdays and Thursdays. But he had a flaw. He had a problem. He wasn't putting it down. I'm 20 something. I need, so I meet, Timbos dragging, Carl Kanai sagging one day. Roughneck. And we start hanging out on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and he was putting it down, So at that point in time, that was important to me. Because like I said, I knew that the CEO didn't love me. The CEO, I just told you the requests I had. He needed to love me. He needed to be mine. He needed to be there, so on and so forth. The CEO couldn't do that, but he was good to me, and I appreciated everything that he did for me. But he didn't fulfill all of my needs. Carl Kanai's sag and Timbo's dragon, I call 5 minutes later, he'd be like beating the door down. So one particular day, CEO drops by my house on a Wednesday, and Carl Kanai's sag and Timbo's dragon is there. And I didn't know what to do. I had never been caught up in a situation like that before. But in the back of my mind, I thought, okay, this man is married. He's here 2 days a week. He's 25 years older than me. He knows, I got to make it do what it do. But he didn't know. he didn't know. He did not expect that from me. That was not on his list of expectations that he had for me, that he had actually never really given to me. But he felt like I was smart enough to know that if somebody's paying all your bills and taking care of you, you don't roll around in the sheets with some other brother. Even if the person that's taking care of you cannot fulfill your physical needs. You don't do that. So I played it like, hey, how you doing? I don't know who to ask to leave because I don't know who's not supposed to be there. It's Wednesday. Timbo's dragon, Carl Kanai sagging was always there on Wednesdays. CEO, well, your day ain't till tomorrow. You a little up in age, memory's a little bad. Maybe you got confused about what day of the week it is. So CEO left. He said, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. He didn't have a drink. He didn't have anything. He wasn't looking for me to cook, none of that. He just said, I'll see you tomorrow. Well, I never knew that tomorrow was going to be one of the worst days of my life. Because he let me have it. He told me off. He told me, let me tell you something. I'm paying your bills and taking care of you. You don't have another so-and-so up in here. And if you ever do that again and you don't ask the other person to leave, I will be done with you. And what I didn't realize was I had put my little needy self in such a position that I either had to abide by CEO's rules or be right back to figuring out how I was going to pay the rent and the $500 light bill and the brand spanking new car payment that I had just got. So eventually, of course, that ended. But that's just a little insight into how I learned how to deal with men and how I used the information that other people gave me to move about through my relationships. It was reckless. It was dangerous. I got to this point where I would meet guys because guys honestly would never leave me alone. I would meet guys and I would tell them this. I would be like, you're never going to leave me alone if I do this, if we mess around, if we date. And they would be like, girl, please, I hit it and quit it all the time. I'm like, and then when things came to a halt, they would be like, why are you doing this to me? I'm like, I told you, you will never be able to leave me alone. Like, men do not have the ability to leave me alone. This thing was voodoo. And one day I woke up and I realized that for every man that had given me the $500 to pay my light bill, for every car note they had paid, for every month of rent, for every pair of shoes, for every thing I had, I was 100% miserable. Miserable, right? So then, once I realized that, I got to this point to where I started to get serious about my life, right? And I started to get sick and tired of having to put up with certain individuals because of what they were doing for me. So I started what we call back then hustling, like working 2 to 3 jobs, making money, becoming that woman that, I knew I was supposed to be, but I didn't know how to become. So then I started paying all my own bills, putting the food and the dishes on the table, paying my own car payment. And now I'm at this point to where when I meet men, I'm like, because some things have happened. I am a strong black woman who's handling her thing. I dress well. I drive well. I do well, earn well. I can take care of myself. But the CEO and the dudes in the past, they have set some pretty high expectations for me. So I'm like, one can only go up from here, right? One can only go once you've been with the CEO, how you gonna date the manager? That was my mindset. Like, I can't, you make what? 80, boy, go. If you don't go sit down somewhere, like, I'm capable of having somebody, with high earning potential and, who's handling business. And so I became that woman that a lot of my friends are, that's like, I don't need a man for ish, and when men would come into my life, I would be in a relationship with them. I would be dating them. I would always be trying to outman them. Always. Like, I don't need you. I always felt the need to let a man know, I don't need you. The purpose you serve here is this big. I don't need you. I can sexually satisfy myself. I can pay my own bills. Like, why are you here? I don't need you. And I had this wall up. And I didn't even realize that I had this wall up, but I had this wall up where I still didn't want to become emotionally connected to guys. I did not want to let them get close to me. I never wanted to put myself in a position to need anything from them or for them to feel like I needed them. I always wanted to make them aware that, hey, I don't need you. And it was horrible. It killed me. It killed me. It made every relationship that I was in at that point in time in my life, it made it hard. It made it horrible. I have a very strong personality just right out the gate. And so when you couple that with strong, independent, confrontational as hell, angry because of everything that happened to me in my past and I have not dealt with, like, then you get somebody that nobody wants to deal with, especially not what they like to call high value alpha male. They don't want to deal with that type of stuff, right? So I say all of that to say this right here. These very important things. I came up with an acronym for women over 40. Snatched over 40. And I don't know about y'all, but I love this, okay? The S stands for staying healthy and fit. It's very important. If you're trying to attract a man into your life, you want to bring a man into your life, being healthy is very important. And I'm not talking about being 5'5" and 112 pounds. That's not the type of healthy I'm talking about. I'm talking about taking care of your skin, taking care of your hair, taking care of your body, exercising, eating well, staying well. Here too, staying healthy, be well. The N is for never settling. But let me be clear about what never settling means, because women, when we have that scroll, that list, we automatically assume that if we have 6'5" written on that piece of paper, if we go with 5'11", we're settling. If we have 250,000 a year on that list and we meet a man who's making 90, we're settling. And whenever we're with a man, if we feel like we're settling and we could have done better, we will never treat him right. We will never treat him right. And most of us will always be on the prowl. We will always be out there looking for the one that was supposed to be and what we deserve. And we're always going to let that man know, hey, I'm here and you here. So you better be thanking your lucky stars that you up in here with me. Because you beneath me. That's not what I'm talking about. With that, I mean, for the BS. Never settle for the BS. Because when you are anything over 35, like there's no time for it. Time is running out. Like at 40, you have probably lived longer than you're probably going to live, especially living in this world we live in today. And no one has time for it. Never settle for the BS. The A is for attraction. But attraction, knowing the laws of attraction, that thing is real. Knowing and understanding that things of like are attracted to one another. Sleep on that. Things of like, why do I always attract dogs? Why ugly men always attracted to me? Why broke dudes always trying to go? Things of like, and I'm not talking about ugly like, physical. I'm talking about ugly like, the inside is ugly. T, take responsibility for your thoughts, feelings, actions, and your own happiness. Take responsibility. Because we would all love to say, I'm this way because my mother made me this way. And that's fine. I know someone right now who I've had this conversation with, I'm this way because I'm angry because, okay, that's fine. But once you get to a certain point in your life, you are in control of your happiness. Your mother's not in control of your success anymore. She's not in control of your happiness. She's not in control of the way that things are going to go in your life. Once you reach a certain point in your life, that's all on you. Take responsibility. Make yourself happy first. And then that person that is meant to be there, they will just fall in your lap. C, check your masculine energy at the door, sisters. This is a whole video. It really is. This is really a whole video. But this is a thing that we don't even understand affects us to the extent that it actually affects us too. That whole masculine energy thing. And as African American women, we have it. We call it strong and independent. But guess what? It's masculine energy. I listen to my friends. They're like, one of my friends said, well, if I get married again, I'm paying 50% of everything. I'm paying 50% of all the bills. And that's because she wants to be running 50% of the show. And me, I'm like, I ain't paying 50% of nothing. My husband is the provider. He is going to pay the bills. I ain't paying 50% of the water bill. I ain't paying 50% of the cable bill. I ain't paying 50% of nothing. Unless, something happens where we get in a situation where, he can't maintain, he can't hold it down, then absolutely 100% I got him and he knows that. However, I'm not paying half of nothing. And I think a lot of women think that if they pay 50% of the bills, then when things fall by the wayside, that means that they take 50% of everything with them. But it doesn't necessarily work like that. Just like if someone's paying 100% of everything, if he pays 100% of everything, that don't mean he's keeping everything if things fall apart. So it doesn't work like that. But check that masculine energy at the door. I did a video, the 10 things classy women don't do. I took that video down. It was the only video I've ever taken down off of YouTube because women were going ham in the comment section. Women were mad because I said my husband has never seen me sitting on the toilet. Women were ticked off about that. But that's how we do things up in here. I like to keep it sexy. I like to keep things feminine. I am a lady first in this house. So that is so important to me. It didn't become important to me until later on in life, but it is very important to me now. Femininity is everything. And I'm not talking about the whole feminist movement. Femininity is everything. Get in touch with the softer side of you because men appreciate that. And don't get in my comment section telling me how we don't care what men want. We don't care what men. Then don't watch this video. Check your masculine energy at the door. In that same video, women were like, it's 2019. This video was last year. Why can't everybody just open their own door? I can open my own door. I can't. If my husband is with me, I'm not opening my door. And guess what? If my husband is with me, if I reach for a door, my husband gets an attitude. If my husband and I are together somewhere and I try to pay, my husband gets an attitude. Because that's the type of man he is. He is a high value alpha male. Sleep on that. The H is for healing. Heal. Take the necessary time to heal. That's important, especially when you talk about bringing someone into your life. I said it earlier. Broken people attract broken people. Hurt people hurt people. Take the time to heal because if you don't, even if a good man or a good relationship or situation walks past you, stands in front of you, slaps you in the face, you will not be able to see it if you don't heal. You won't see it. You won't appreciate it. You won't value it. You won't even know how to live in that moment if you don't take the time you need to heal. The E is for emotional well-being. Get your emotional well-being in check. That falls in line with healing. And last but not least, the D is for diversity. Why did I put that on there? I put that on there for one huge reason. Diversity is recognizing that each individual is unique and special in their own way. You, him, them. Learning how to appreciate things about people that make them unique that may not necessarily be things that you're looking for in a person. Learn how to sit down and have tea, have a conversation with a man that you not goo gaga on over, that you don't 100% find physically fine. He might be 10 pounds heavier than you like him. He might not be as chiseled in his jawline as you like him to be. He may not have waves. He may be bald, but give him 20 minutes of your time and don't even focus on the way that this man looks. Fall in love with him intellectually and emotionally and all that type of stuff. Like, start checking some of that mess off of your list, because the one thing that these alpha male dudes are saying that is true is that women have these lists with these unrealistic expectations on them. I mean, let's be clear. I like to keep it 100% real. I dated some guys when I was in my 20s that were magazine fine. Like, fine. Wasn't worth the piece of paper that they would print his picture on the front of the magazine, but just drop dead gorgeous. Fine, right? muscular, money, all that type of stuff. I could pretty much choose. When I was in my 20s, I was young and hot. I was fertile. I was all that good stuff. But the older you get, you have to start marking some of those things off of your list. And some women are like, well, men don't. Well, they do, unless they have a lot of money. Because let's be clear, when you have a lot of money, you have a lot of options. And let's just keep it real. Let's just be clear about that. It works the same for women. We've all seen women 70 and her boo is 35, and you're like, girl, how did you do it? You know how she did it. She has money. Go to Neiman Marcus with $15. You're going to get an eyebrow pencil sharpener, and they might give you some free samples, and you might get a makeup remover sponge. Go to Neiman's with $1 million. You can buy anything you want. You can have whatever you want. They laid it all out for you. They're going to give you champagne. They're going to give you a red carpet treatment, and they're going to box up and wrap up your stuff. You're going to get it just how you like it, because with money comes options. And that's just the way that goes. So men, there are some good older high value men out there, and unfortunately a lot of them are looking for women who are younger, but that's their bad, right? That has nothing to do with you. Like, if you're a woman of a more mature age, you still handling your business, you still look good, there's a man out there for you. The man that is looking for the girl that's going through puberty, he ain't the man for you anyway. Because I for the life of me, I cannot figure this thing out. I just feel like, being with a high value man, there are some things that you need to know. You need to know which fork to eat your salad with when he takes you to a 5-star restaurant. You need to know how to cook and prepare a situation and prepare for guests, and how to travel appropriately, and how to be classy, and how to act like a lady. So I'm not really sure why these guys like to go out and get women that have to be taught and trained and learned. I don't know. I don't understand that. Maybe one in the comment section can help me with that today. I don't know. But that's my time. I wanted to speak on this subject so desperately. We can do a part 2 if y'all would like. If y'all would like a part 2, leave it in the comment section below. There's much more where this comes from. Thank you for listening to me today. Until I see you again, be blessed. Remember, 40 and over is fabulous. I don't care what they say. We have lived, we have done things, we have climbed mountains, dug ourselves out of trenches, had life experiences, and should be at this present moment in our lives living our best lives. And that is what matters. So be blessed and